I want to talk about preferred versus unpreferred activities. Now, this is some inside IEP language right here, just so you know. IEP, Individualized Education Plan, something you use in school setting. Anyways, here's what I've learned about this. Preferred activities always motivate Abby. So if I'm trying to get Abby to, exercise her brain in a way that might be unpleasant for her, she's more motivated. Let's say it's a focus issue or a language issue, or she's having to do a Q&A for somebody or something. Preferred activities always motivate. That's just something she wants to do. It doesn't have to make sense to me, but whatever it is, it might be picking out a certain stuffed animal for her collection that she wants. It might be going to a certain restaurant. Whatever that thing is, she loves going to the zoo. I hold on to her preferred activities as a motivator. For all of us, we all do that. But with someone with autism, I feel like it's an even deeper tool that you can use. Now, unpreferred activities, let's talk about that for a second. So this is things that your kid, doesn't want to do or has anxiety toward, or, there's a resistance, so to speak. But sometimes unpreferred activities can prevent you from integrating into life and the world. So we have to look at what is that unpreferred activity. For example, I'm just going to throw one out there. Let's say your kid hates getting on the school bus, doesn't like the bus, won't get on it, so you wind up driving your kid. So now you've avoided the school bus, and you would say, oh, my kid doesn't like the school bus, we're not going to take it. But buses and transportation and other modes of transportation could then impact your life if you don't want to get on a bus or a school bus. You see? So maybe there's a way to say, what is it about the school bus? We have to be a detective. Now, maybe you get on that school bus and actually ride it with your kid to observe what's going on the school bus, to try and help them identify what is it about the bus they don't like. Or, you follow the school bus in your car to see what's going on there. Abby had terrible anxiety about the bus. You know what it was? It was waiting for parents to come and get their kids when they stopped at their homes to drop them off. Bus drivers couldn't leave until parents came out, and some parents forgot what time it was, and the kids are sitting on the bus for 7 minutes on a hot day, and Abby felt trapped on the bus. So the whole idea of riding a bus became, I'm not getting on the bus. Not because of the bus, but because of the parents being late and having to wait at the end of the school day.
How did you discover that with her?
I paid attention. I kept asking her a lot of questions to see what it was, and being like a detective. I just didn't make an assumption that all buses are bad. I almost got on the bus with her to see. There was another kid on the bus that had an aide. So I remember asking the aide, and then, of course, I called transportation and I talked to the bus driver to find out, is there anything going on? Is there any bullying going on? And these weren't big giant school buses. These are small transportation buses. Sometimes they're the white little buses that transport 15 kids. Anyways, so the issue is, well, then who would want to sit on a hot bus on a hot summer day with no AC? Especially a kid who is what? Triggered by heat. Triggered by heat. That's her whole sensory thing. Abby says she feels like she's melting when it's hot out. She can do cold. She can't do hot. Trigger. So now you have a sensory issue on the bus because of that delayed departure thing. So I then had the school make sure she was the last pickup and the first drop off, because I requested that Abby get off the bus without me waiting for her. I wanted her to be independent. And so if they didn't accommodate me on that, then she didn't have to take the bus. I would not let her sit and be the fourth or fifth drop off because there was too many variables. So I got her to be the first one off, and now she rides the bus fine. And now she's 26, and guess what she loves? The subway, the city bus. She's learning Uber now. So do you see how I had to figure out what was the causality of this anxiety bus thing, instead of just going, she doesn't like the bus, so we're going to avoid the bus at all cost. You shouldn't be saying, I don't know why. You should try to figure it out. If you can't, look, you tried. We're not, gods with magical powers. We're just parents trying to do our best. But that is something that I learned, that I think if we can help them discover what their triggers are. I got Abby to tell me. And then it was great because she started calling me at work when the bus was delayed, saying so-and-so's mother hadn't come out yet. I even knew who the culprit was. No, I didn't say anything, but it's that kind of thing. So unpreferred versus preferred, maybe in the unpreferred activity, you can find out what is the issue and is it debilitating? Is it going to stop them from integrating? So maybe we need to look at this particular unpreferred activity rather than build a shrine to it and say Billy never has to take the bus, because then what's going to happen when he's 20 and 21 and 22? He's never going to get on a bus because he's going to associate everything with those experiences, which were just kind of unfortunate, parts of her special needs program that she was in at her autism school.
What if there's something triggering that is not necessary? Like if there's a certain noise that triggers your child, is that something that you should work through? Okay,
here's the deal. That's a great question. And part of what I should have probably said, which is, now we talk about unpreferred activities. If I could eliminate the heat from that bus and that waiting, then she could ride the bus, which is what I did. But if that school said, no, she's going to have to sit on that hot bus, I wouldn't have forced her to go on that bus, and I would have driven her. But I would have tried to introduce her to maybe the city bus or something else, so she didn't think all buses meant, a heated box that wasn't moving. So you have to figure out if it is sensory related. If the unpreferred activity is sensory related, do not push it, is what I would say, is what I would suggest. Let's say it's a bowling alley, right? Loud, kind of a short space. The acoustics are kind of funky. I love bowling alleys, but that's just me. But if they don't like it, don't force it. If it's loud noises, if you can slowly introduce something very gently, I've learned that sometimes it's not actually loud noises that bother Abby as much as it is being startled by loud noises. When you get startled and your heart races, it's that feeling that gets in her core and she can't shake it. It's not really the dog, the octave of the dog barking. It's the startled nature of when it's going to start. Do you see the difference between those two things? I know it's very subtle, but that way we could work through the dog itself. And now we have a dog that is the love of our lives, Clementine. Our celebrity dog, and I couldn't imagine life without her, neither could Abby, because Clementine has been Abby's best friend.